Hey everybody, it's FrSky Steve, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about planes behaving badly. So we're talking about planes that either gain altitude too much or lose altitude when you give it throttle, and what we can do to fix it. And I have personal experience with this because a number of years ago I decided I really like these Bixler style planes. They're cheap fun, they're great to just take out in the mornings. The problem with them is that, well, the electronics that come with it are something I'm not interested in. I don't care for the servos, I don't care for the motors or anything else like that. And the bigger issue is that what they do is they put the motor right on the thrust line, and because of that, there's not very much space for a large propeller. So a lot of times they're just noisy. And there's an outfit called Small Parts CNC out of California. You can find them on smallpartscnc.com. And what they do is they make motor mounts for a hell of a lot of different planes. It's actually worth going to the website just to look to see all the different planes you have. I found this place when I was trying to find a motor mount for a Radian. Anyway, what I did was I bought a motor mount from them, and what it has is it's like a tube that goes where the motor should be, and then there's like a flat face that goes up maybe 1.5 inches to 2 inches up, and from that excuse me, the motor goes up higher, and because it goes up higher it can spin a larger prop, and that makes it quieter, flights last longer, and I've all around enjoyed that. Now, the downside with this is that when the motor is above the thrust line, like in this situation, when you give it throttle, what will happen is it pushes the nose down. So throttle means that the nose comes down, and I was out flying around one day about 6 months ago, and I'm like watching my plane fly, and I give it throttle, and I see the nose come down, and then we let off the throttle, all of a sudden it starts to balloon up again, and I'm like, man, I'm an idiot. I can fix this right now. So how do I do that? It's pretty simple. Go into Model, long press. Oops. That was the wrong model. Press this model right here. Go to Mixes. And I'm going to hit this plus icon, or I can just click on this and hit Add. And there's this thing called Throttle-Elevator. So we're going to put this in the last position. And this one has a positive value, and just to show you, make it a little bit easier to see, I'm going to bring it up to about 30%. Okay, and when I hit this, I can long press on that. Yeah, I can get into the outputs menu, and you can see that as I give more throttle, the elevator comes up. And elevator up means that the nose will come up, right? So that the idea is that it pushes the nose up, so as I give it throttle, the nose comes up, and as I lay back on the throttle, the nose will start to retract a little bit, and I usually find a nice cruising speed and trim it for that. Everything's great. So that works perfectly. That's example one. Now we're going to go back to where we were before, and what if we gave this, instead of a positive value, what if we gave it a negative value? Oops, take it over here, take it down to 30%. Alright, so maybe a little, whatever, that should be good. Go back to the outputs, long press on it, go into display, and what's happening is that as I give it more throttle, the elevator is coming down. And when the elevator comes down, that means the nose starts to come down. So why would you want this? Here's a situation where you have a plane, and maybe you have a nice cruising speed with this plane. So you're cruising around, maybe 30% throttle. This is your go-to. But whenever you give it a bit more throttle, the thing starts to really gain altitude. And if you try to trim it out where, you can trim it so that the altitude that it holds a steady altitude when you give it, let's say 60% throttle, what you'd find as soon as the throttle comes back down, the nose would start to drop, and then on your comfortable cruising speed, the plane would actually start to lose altitude. So you would want something like this in order to make up for the fact that you're gaining altitude too quickly when you given it excessive throttle. And so that's how those work, how the numbers work, both positive and negative. What happens is this is always on. You can set this on a switch if you're not comfortable with it. So for example, let's put it on switch F. Here's F, and we'll put it on switch F up. All right. And from there, you can turn this on and off so you can play with it in case you're not comfortable with it, but that's how I would work with it. Then when you finally have it dialed in, you probably want to switch this back from a switch to always on. And again, negative values means that the plane will lose altitude, or the nose will start to come down as you give it more throttle. And a positive value means the nose will come up as you give it more throttle. And with that, we have completed yet another quick tip video. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I do thank you for watching. Have a great day.